Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric and today we are going to be making some tasty smoked chicken hot dogs. I'm going to share with you all the secrets so you can get that perfect snap, juicy bite. Let's get started. We're going to start with a bone-in, skin-on chicken breast. Now we're going to take that skin, remove it, because that's going to be part of the fat for this recipe, and we're just going to remove the breast from the bone. Now chicken breast is very lean and can dry out pretty quick when you cook it, so in addition to the chicken breast, we're also going to be using chicken thigh meat. Thigh meat is great for this recipe. It's got a lot of flavor, and it's going to help us keep that sausage nice and juicy. So we're just going to remove the skin and debone that thigh, just like we did with the chicken breast. And now it's time to prepare our chicken for the grinder by cutting it up into tiny pieces. So I do want to make sure that all of my meat is partially frozen before I grind it, and I'm going to keep my meat and fat separate. So this is what that's going to look like. Our chicken fat is on the left, and then we have our thigh meat and breast meat, and we're just going to place that all into the grinder on a 6mm plate. And here we're going to grind the thigh meat and the breast meat together. And then once that's finished, we're going to grind the chicken fat. This is what everything should look like after the first grind. Notice our meat and fat's still separate, but we're not done yet because we're going to do a second grind. So we're going to put this back in the freezer, and when it's just above frozen, we're going to regrind that on the smallest plate we have. In this case, it's 3mm. We still want to grind the meat and fat separate, and this second grind is actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting for when it comes time to put it in our food processor. So once we're done grinding, we're going to take just the meat, right? So this is our thigh meat and breast meat, and we're going to add our seasonings to it. We have salt, Insecure number 1, garlic powder, pepper, and nutmeg. The recipe will be in the description box below. And we're just going to mix that well to combine. Once our seasonings have been well incorporated, we're going to place that on a tray alongside of our fat, cover it, and refrigerate it overnight. Through the night, the salt that we added to the chicken meat is going to release a protein called myosin, which is going to act like glue and help you get a really good emulsion. We're going to be using Insecure number 1 for these smoked chicken dogs, and I'm going to add potato starch, which is going to give us a really nice bind and a great texture. For the casings, we're using some sheep casings, 22-24mm that we got from the sausage maker. They've been cleaned, they've been soaking. All right, let's finish these chicken dogs. It's the next day. Our meat's been in the fridge. We've got our food processor ready to go. Now we're just going to add our seasoned meat only at this stage to our food processor. It's below 30 degrees. We want to make sure that everything stays nice and cold. And during this first chop, we're going to add half of the ice that the recipe calls for. And this is going to keep everything nice and cold. Grinding our meat twice really has done a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So we're only going to be chopping for, 30 to 60 seconds till we get a really nice smooth batter. And this is what it should look like. At this point, we're going to add our chilled fat, and we're going to go ahead and continue chopping. And during this stage, you're going to add the rest of your crushed ice. And here, we're only going to chop for really another 30 to 60 seconds. Once we are done and we have a really nice smooth farce, everything should look mostly homogeneous. We're now going to add our potato starch. Our potato starch is going to act as a binder. It's going to have a lot of moisture retention properties, so it's going to give us a really good juicy bite. And we're just going to chop this up for another 15 to 20 seconds until everything is well incorporated. And at this point, we are done chopping, and it's time to stuff these into our sheep casings. Now that our sausages have been stuffed, we're just going to form our links, and you can form this into whatever size link you want. And then finally, to get this prepared for the smoker, we're just going to give our sausages a little prick. And one last thing I want to do before I start applying smoke is I want to let these sausages dry out. That's going to help firm up the casing, help it adhere better to the farce. So we're going to place these into our smoker and set it to about 90 or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't want to close the door. I'm going to leave the door ajar just a little bit. That's going to allow for some better air circulation. And after about an hour or so, we can start applying smoke. I personally like the texture of a chicken dog when it's poached, so we're only going to do some low temp smoking here for a couple hours, and then we're going to transfer it to a water bath. If you're going to smoke this to completion in your smoker, at high heat. You're going to want to add a tray of hot water into your smoker. That's going to create a lot of humidity, a lot of steam, and it's going to firm up your casing, giving you that traditional sausage snap that you get with sheep casing. Otherwise, it could turn a little rubbery. So we're going to go ahead and smoke these. Once they're done, we're going to pop them into our water bath and see how they come out. Our chicken dogs have finished cooking, and I wanted to show you our poaching liquid. After they're done cooking, this is what it should look like. Now, it might be a little cloudy, but it shouldn't be oily. If for whatever reason the water that you poach your sausages in look like this, that means your emulsion broke and your sausages are going to be dry and crumbly. And here we go. Our smoked chicken hot dogs are ready. Just so you know, this particular recipe freezes great, so you can make these in advance and freeze them and pull them out whenever you're ready. And I gotta tell you, as far as this cut goes, it looks beautiful. Texture is spot on. It's springy, a little bouncy. It's not too dense. The emulsion looks great. Let's give it a bite. Wow, that's tasty. I don't know if you could see this, but this is incredibly juicy. Let me see if I can get a better shot for you. The seasoning profile is very mild, nothing overpowering, so you get a really nice, subtle, smoky chicken flavor. And if you like hot dogs, these smoked chicken hot dogs are a great change of pace. And I hope you get a chance to make it. If you have any questions about this recipe, leave them in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, we'd like to say welcome. Thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. We post new videos each week. We'll see you in the next one.